I listened to a couple of their shows this week. It's called Hit Points Gaming,
That sounds
where
like
they
right up your
talk.
alley.
It sounds right up your alley. They talk about board games and video games, and they just kind of sit there and discuss. The one that I listened to earlier this week is Why Are Gamers Afraid to Die in Games? Very interesting discussion that they had on there. And I have to agree, it definitely goes back to what you were kind of saying and what you've said many a time.
We project ourselves onto the game the character, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and there was a thing back then, like when you died, there was no save spots. Like,
it used to be way more
zero.
brutal. These days, it's usually you don't get penalized or punished much as much. But I think a lot of us old school gamers, especially, still retain that like visceral reaction. We're like, no, we can't die. There are some newer games like Bloodborne which will punish you, but anyways,
exactly. But it just kind of brought to mind over and over again for me. It's how can I say this? And I die. And I die, and I die, and I have to laugh or then I'll start to cry. And now I start to cry. How's first? Oh, yeah. Before all the fireballs exploded, I had so much equipment and experience growing. Now what can I say? But would you like to play a game today? And that reminds me, next week we'll be discussing Conventioneers.
That was very nice, Tracy.
Thank you.
I have to say, that was... I can't wait for Conventioneers. I'm just going to give a sneak peek. It's one of my favorites.
This is one of those ones that you have been looking forward to for quite a while.
I've heard you mention
For like
this.
for 2 years, I've been looking forward to doing this song.
I have not cheated. I've not cheated. I have not listened to it. I've heard you guys mention it. I'm
You've got to
for
read
it.
the lyrics too,
Yeah,
Aaron. You've
of
got to hook into the lyrics and listen to the song and be swept away by the experience because that's the beauty of the song.
And you get to hear Steven sing it much better than I just did.
Although that was very nice. You did a nice version.
Well, thank you.
But, and it's a total Steven song. Total,
yes.
100%. There it is in black and white.
I have not cheated and looked ahead yet to see who wrote it, but if it's not Steven, I am going to be my jaw's going to hit the floor.
I would be shocked because it's all part of his process, let's say.
Oh, definitely. And it's interesting. Like, I was sitting there and I was thinking, like, I want to go back and see if there are themes to each of them and what they're writing and, later on as we go through this podcast. But I seem to feel, and I think that one of the themes that we're going to come back to, we can discuss more next week, is I think actually next week we're not going to discuss Conventioneers because we're going to do our New Year's Eve resolutions and looking at our scores for the year and seeing if there's anything that we feel regretful about and changing those up. And then we'll be hitting Conventioneers the week after.
Get prepared for a long episode, folks.
Yes.
But I get the feeling for Steven, and it came in the interview, that it's not the bad boyfriend narrator. It's I'm looking around at all these people around me and shining a light on society. And I want people to see how they are in relationships. I want people to realize how they are in relationships. And I think that's kind of his theme that he keeps coming back to, is not so much like I'm a bad person and I'm a bad person in relationships, but we as people in general are. So it'll be interesting to kind of discuss that more next week.
Most definitely.
Interesting.
So have a great week. Have a happy Christmas.
Yes.
And a happy New Year.
Happy Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
War is over.
Happy Hanukkah belatedly, or Happy Kwanzaa, Merry Festivus.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Whatever you celebrate. Sincerely, I hope it was a great one or is a great one. And
yes,
Happy
Kwanzaa
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Boxing Day. Happy
Tuesday.
Boxing Day.
Happy Boxing Day. That's true, too.
That's not where you sit there and have a fist fight. That's different.
No, but that reminds me. I watched Die Hard on Christmas. I need to start watching Rocky on Boxing Day.
Oh, that's a good tradition. I
think
like
so.
it.
I mean, they don't they? Isn't like Christmas mentioned? Like they're talking about a turkey or something, right? Or maybe it's Thanksgiving. I feel like it's around Christmas time. I think it's actually like winter in Philadelphia in that movie.
It looks cold,
Yeah,
so it's got to be around the holidays.
Gym sweats and stuff. You know, like, I just gotta run to get my temperature up now. But Merry Christmas.
Speaking of getting to the gym, I should probably get to the gym.
I actually need to do that too. So hey.
So have a good night, everyone, and we'll talk to you next week.
Merry Christmas.
Yay!
See you next week.
Merry Christmas and all that jazz.
All that Vince Guaraldi jazz.
Yep.